Oh, you damn right. Let's go modcast on a beautiful Tuesday. Actually, it's probably going to be a hot as hell Tuesday. Record high temperatures around the Austin area and around a lot of Texas right now. So hopefully you guys are cool and under a fan or whatever. It is the modcast. You see the mods right there. We got Alex Dunlap for you in the upper right. Your lower left today is going to be Anwar Richardson. Jason Sukamel, the lower right. I'm Chad Hastings trying to wrangle it all. And speaking of wrangling it all, shout out to our sponsor, and it is Daily and Black. Check them out if you need a lawyer that's on your side and will look out for you. Daily and Black is a great way to go. Check out that QR code right there. And remember, it is DALY for Daily and Black. They are your sponsor for the modcast each and every week. And if you guys want to jump in the chat, you can do it. If you want to send us a super chat, that will be allowed too. Emojis are also welcome. Uncle Mickey throwing a hook'em emoji right away. And we've already gotten some chats kind of on the subject matter today. So I guess we have to start with it's official, but maybe a question mark. Anwar, let me start with you. Why would I see a story that Texas and Ohio State are going to kick at 11 a.m. and then later on it's pointed out that, well, wait a second, they didn't actually announce the time specifically, did they? Like, what are we looking at here? We all believe with our souls this thing's going to kick at 11 a.m. Why would there be confusion today?
I mean, it sounds like someone, jumped the gun a little bit in some ways. And I don't think if you're Fox, you don't really make an announcement about a game that everybody already knew was happening, right? I mean, we it wasn't like a surprise that Texas is going to open up against Ohio State on the road. Like, duh. I mean, right? It's just the only reason you're making that is to probably add some sort of buildup to it's probably going to be your noon game is more than likely where you're headed with that one. And so, this is I think it's probably like Jason in recruiting. There's sometimes they want to have that element of surprise a little bit. And so instead of just announcing it right away, it's kind of like, oh, I'm teasing to it, but you never know what it could be. But like the reality is you kind of probably know where it's heading.
Well, and also, Jason, you do kind of trap yourself when you call your show Big Noon Kickoff. That's what they call the show. Like ESPN has Game Day. They call the show with Urban Meyer Big Noon Kickoff. So it can be a little confusing when you say Big Noon Kickoff is going somewhere. Maybe that's what the confusion is about?
Man, I don't like what I read, and I spent about 10 minutes on this morning, but like they did say it's going to be the Big Noon Kickoff, and then they took that part out of the story. Right? They retracted it. So, like Almar said, you're not putting a graphic out there just announcing that Texas and Ohio State are playing. Like, there's no need for that. So clearly they were intending on announcing Big Noon Kickoff. I think we all expect that's where it'll be. But like from a working perspective, Anwar, I don't know about you. You'll be at the game. I love it because then we're done. Our day's over. We can enjoy the evening. As a fan, if I'm a Texas football fan, that's my first Saturday of the year to watch college football. I would much rather have a night game where I can just kind of barbecue and have some beers all day, hang out with my friends, and then cap the day with Texas at Ohio State. Now it's going to kick at 11 a.m. Central Time. Is that right? So
yeah, that's true. Now,
I mean, they've got two windows basically, right? They have the 11 o'clock or that 2:30 window.
Even 2:30 is better, but
yeah, they've got. See, the thing is, if you check the Fox schedule, they've got baseball games that potentially might be played on that day. There's three games that are listed for Fox that day. It's Detroit at KC, Seattle at Cleveland, and Baltimore at San Fran. Those are
I'm hearing a lot of last place teams.
Exactly, a lot to choose from, right? So. And that's in the 7:15 Eastern spot on Fox. So you can pretty much eliminate the thought of a night game as relates to that because they already got baseball on deck. So that's only going to leave you with two spots, which is probably either that Big Noon Kickoff or the 2:30 game, 3:30 game Eastern time. We know that for Fox, it's been this fight for a long time, whereas we as fans love the night games and the primetime games, but those guys as television people have identified that the afternoon spot is actually more of a sweet spot for them than it is the evening spot. So more than likely, you're talking it. If you're reading tea leaves, 11 o'clock probably is going to be the thing that makes the sense on our time.
I don't care if there's a Yankees and Red Sox playing that night for first place. Me being a diehard Yankees fan, I'm still going to be watching college football that night. So
Right.
It's like, what are they doing, man?
Yeah. When I saw the baseball thing, I don't know if I've ever heard a dumber argument than that. It's August 30th. That's a month before the regular season of baseball ends. Alex, put a baseball game on FS1, put the Longhorns and Buckeyes on at night, and dare people not to watch. Everybody wants to watch that game. You got to put that thing in prime time. If you just love 11 a.m., that's a different discussion. But if you're going to tell me baseball is the reason they can't play under the lights, to me, that is insane.
Well, I mean, the baseball thing is so stupid, right? But I mean, the reason, it's about money. Like, it's about basically what Fox has done is they're like, you know what? There's this, due to the various contracts that the conferences have and all the rest of it, and the primetime slotting that some people get, they identified a void in the marketplace as saying like they said we're going to go big at noon. We're gonna put our big game there, and so we're gonna do that. And so that's obviously where they're putting Texas at Ohio State. We didn't need any reports or anything. It's gonna be their big noon kickoff game. That's their big game every week, right? And people in the Big Ten have said there's a giant outcry about it, saying like, what is like Penn State hadn't been able to have one of these night whiteout games in like 2 years or something like that because they've been swindled by this. They always get stuck with the noon. And it makes people angry. People don't like it. Clearly, prime time is optimal. It's all the things Jason said. There's also the fact that if you're those kickoffs, especially for week one, when they happen at noon, if you're a fan, you feel real good if you get the win, right? You get to watch all the rest of the games, the rest of the day, feeling like you got this dub already. You got the hay already in the barn and stuff. It kind of in some ways, I think it takes a little bit of the sheen off of the first week of college football being this massive celebration. You sit and barbecue all day and enjoy all the games. If you have to, carry around this L all day and just kind of have that as something that you're having to just, deal with as a fan. And it's not like this game's going to be a close spread figure. Is Ohio State favored? Was it 2.5 last time I saw?
I'm assuming it would be a close Buckeyes favorite. I haven't looked in a while though.
Going to be, it's going to be a tight. It's not going to be easy, but it'll be a fun game. It'll be a good game. Then that leads me to my last point. It's like maybe everybody wants it to be at night, but I would say maybe kind of be careful what you wish for a little bit because it's not easy to play there at night. I know it's a different Ohio State team than usual, but I think Texas, as far as if you're actually looking to go there and have an easier time as far as just getting in, getting out with a W, man, it's not easy to go to the shoe at night. That's a thing for a reason. So maybe it's for the best.
Well, and the other thing too, as it relates to that, Alex, too, is that Fox has basically found their sweet spot. Like to your point, I think you were kind of alluding to it, which is that noon spot for them, because this way they don't have to worry about the ESPNs or the ABCs that later in the day, because we know like that's where you are. I think Cody put one of the games in the chat or something like that, and so Fox understands like, hey, noon is our spot, and then this way everybody else who wants to go to the whatever ESPN has at 7:30 Eastern time or whatever it's going to be on ABC, like we don't have to compete against that. Like we'll just make our living here, and I think that's a formula that really works for them. And so that's why I'd be shocked if it's anything other than the 11 o'clock /noon start.
Yeah, I totally agree. And remember, if your team is going to kick at 11 o'clock, there's one thing you need, and that is a good night's sleep. Let me tell you about sinus and snoring specialists, and then I'll tell you why you will reap the benefits of this kick time, Texas fans. Again, sinus and snoring specialists will make sure you're sleeping good, whether you're getting up for a morning kick, you're staying up late for an evening kick, maybe you got a double shift, night shift to deal with, and maybe you snore like crazy. Maybe you know you have sinus infections all the time. Maybe those allergies are killing you. This is the place that can help. 601-0303 or sinussnoringent.com. Get rid of those allergies for good. Get rid of all that snoring stuff for good. Sleep better, feel better. You'll be healthier. Make it a gift to yourself in 2025. Sinus and snoring specialists. Feel clear, rested, and healthy. Tell Dr. Slaughter you heard about it here on Orange Bloods Live. And fellas, to me, they've taken advantage of it before. It's another chance to do it again. And Anwar is there in the press box for these games. He can tell us more about the feel. But 11 o'clock kicks are always sleepier. Always. I know they can be more exciting depending on who's playing, but it's always a little bit of a sleepier game. Texas took advantage in Ann Arbor. Texas got to take advantage in Fayetteville last year when for some reason someone stared at the Texas-Arkansas game and went, that should be a morning kick. That was great news for Texas by the end of the game. Anwar, you can speak more on it, but to me, I'm an old school guy. If I'm the home team, I want the game as late as possible for atmosphere. But if I'm the road team, earlier the better. Let's kick at 8:30 in the morning local time because those fans will not be ready to roll.
Yeah, I mean, you always hear about the, coaches talking about, killing time, in a hotel, just trying to find things to do. And, they're just sitting there, bored, kind of watching different games. And, meanwhile, that the team that you're at, that all their fans have started drinking at 11, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, right? So by the time they roll into the stadium, they're all boozed up. They're all liquored up. It's, you got, a crazy fan base that's able to, even from driving perspectives as well. So people are able to drive in day of game. So it makes a difference. When Texas goes and, if they start off strong against Ann Arbor, the fans do. And then all of a sudden when Texas kind of makes a couple of things here and there and starts to get a little bit quieter. Arkansas for a couple of years ago, I mean, from the moment that thing was kicked off, it was wild and it just never stopped. Now, to help that, Arkansas was dominating and playing so well in that game. But those evening games, they're tricky. They're definitely more dicey. The afternoon games, they can make it a little bit more of a business trip, a little bit more of a road trip, for them. And so, I think the good part for Texas is that no matter what, Sark's done good on the road, especially in some of these big games. And so they figured out the formula of night or day, by quite honest, because Alabama was probably one of the best atmospheres I've seen and been in. And, I loved it. I loved it just as a person like college football. And you saw how Texas was able to respond there. So I think, no matter what, you could look to Sark and say, big games on the road past 2 years, there was 2 seasons. They go to Alabama, they win. They go to Michigan, they win. Now you've got Ohio State. You got to figure that Sark's, they know they've got a formula of what it takes to kind of win and be successful on the road. So, either way, it should be good for Texas or could be good for Texas. But if you much rather have, I think, that 11 o'clock kickoff to get things started.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's a good. It could help Texas overall. Cody Carpentier jumping in, reminding us Bama Florida State is a 2:30 kick that day on ABC. By the way, true road game for Bama.
God, I can't wait for football, man.
I know that's at
I wish
Florida
I could turn
State.
that on this weekend. My God.
And I know networks like to be nice to each other, fellas, but Cody and you come on now. If I'm Fox and I could say, okay, we won't start the game at night. We could end it though towards the evening. Why not kick it at 2:30? Dare people? Are that many people gonna? You tell me nobody's gonna watch Texas Ohio State if you kicked it at 2:30?
Yeah, but you get more eyeballs, for everybody who's got their got their TVs,
right?
Parked on, and it's like, hey, come over to the house. We got, Texas is playing this one here, so now I got all the eyeballs here. Now I've got all the eyeballs at Alabama and Florida State. I don't know who the late game is on week 1. I'm sure there's a good one. I think someone said Clemson is a late game.
LSU's at Clemson week 1.
Man.
And that's the night game.
Yeah, that's got to be the night. I mean, if that doesn't end up night game in Death Valley, I don't understand why you wouldn't.
See, I mean, that's Jason Sukumel's dream, just a day of drinking. Where he
You're right.
He can get started early and just take a nap and rebound for the late games, right, Jason?
I'm gonna have my cooler loaded and ready, Anwar. Yeah.
That is it. By the way, Anwar, Google Scholar slipped us a $1.99 super chat. Anwar,
oh yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Taff was PFF All-American second team, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, it was a reference that we're doing predictions, and I said Taff will be All-American after this season, and I just kind of went into a rant as to why I feel like he's underrated, and so. Yes, he was a second team All-American, but still nothing SEC related. And didn't get the SEC.
PFF second team All-American, and who knows how they grade it.
That's right.
Yeah. Alex, I thought about you. I'm sorry to take us. There's a player, an NFL player, the rookie. Did you see he missed his $2 million bonus because he was 2 snaps away from hitting his nest? And they thought he had the snaps, he and his agent, because PFF said he had enough snaps.
I haven't heard it. I've heard the story.
I saw it on his. So he missed a 2. Like, first off, you fire your agent, right?
Yeah, you can't go by
that. What position are we talking about?
Packers player. Sean Ryan misses out on $2 million raise by 2 snaps, and his agent said, "We looked at PFF and they had him with the extra 2 snaps. That's what we went by." He missed out on $2 million, dude. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, this agent sucks.
What in the world?
Dude, can you imagine that? So instead of making 3.4, he's making $1.36 million.
Who is it?
Said offensive
line. Ryan. He was a rookie guard for the Packers.
A guard too. Oh,
so wait. So they decided that he was gonna get the last ones and just sit for the rest of the.
I don't know, but I'm sure they would have put 2 more snaps or something and put him in on special. I'm sure they would have found a way to give him the extra snaps, but they thought they had it, and the Packers were like, "Nope, we're not paying."
Why would you cut it that close? Even if PFF was dead on, get the man
NFL and NFLPA both have him just under. They have him 2 snaps under his whatever.
He doesn't even talk to the GM to make sure, like, hey. I've seen this thing. Like, I just want to see what numbers do you have?
His cousin is his agent or something.
That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. I had not heard that. Anwar was talking about Jason and a day of drinking. There'd be drinking going on after that when you realize you lost that much money.
Speaking of whooping my agent's ass, probably.
Geez, yeah. Speaking of drinking, shout out to Specs. They bring you the Specs chat, and there is a tequila sale going on. If tequila is your drink, pay attention.
It's tequila time. Who's ready for a margarita? Shake things up all month long with discounts on Blancos, Reposados, and Añejo tequila during Specs Tequila Sale.
Oh, I know where Alex is going after the show. Are you serious?
I've already been there, man. But I'll definitely have to go back a time or two before that sale's up on the 31st.
When did the sale end? It's at the end of this month?
31st.
End of the month. Yep. Goes till the 31st. Don't worry, Anwar. There's already an Alex Dunlap shaped hole in the door at Specs where he left when he got all stocked up. So if you guys want to jump in the chat, let's see. What did we get earlier? Sailor Joe threw this in earlier. It's like last year at the big house, in quotes. Texas made easy work early in the day, kept the crowd hushed.
Hasn't Sark said, like, hey, we're a morning program? Like, he actually likes those 11 a.m. kicks, right?
Yeah, somebody put that in the chat earlier, Jason. You're right. I think he digs it.
Sark has literally said, we're a morning program. I hope I'm not getting him confused with Tom Herman, but I think it was Sark that said that. Like, hey, we're a morning program. We do. I mean, we know it, guys. We're out there at these 9 a.m. practices all the time, or not all the time, right, Alex? But sometimes
all the time.
Well, because a lot of times you're getting out there early to beat the heat. You're getting out there early for some good work before it gets stifling hot. And if you get your body used to that, then 11 a.m. kick, man, you're ready to go.
Sark's selling wolf tickets there. They're a morning and night program. They won in Tuscaloosa. They won in College Station last year.
I think he means just more like when they do their workouts and when they do their practices.
And it might be a morning program, but they're winning on the road.
Yeah, I think he's more just about when they do their workouts.
I'm a giant fan of like old man phrases. What did you just say, Elmore? Did I hear some kind of old man? He's selling wolf?
Oh, yeah, I said he's selling wolf tickets.
What does that mean? What is that about? I've never heard that.
I don't know where the genesis of it comes from. But it basically means like you're saying stuff, but it's not necessarily true. You can look it up and see what selling wolf tickets
all about.
See, yeah, it's selling. I just know it's an old man. Yes, it's an old man phrase. What's the technical definition, Alex?
And just so I know, you're saying wolf like animal.
So this is what AI tells me about. Okay. I think it says selling wolf tickets is an idiom that refers to making empty threats or boasting without the intention or ability to back them up. This phrase can also mean trying to intimidate someone with threats of violence or menacing words.
So it's kind of a takeoff of the boy who cried wolf, right? Crying wolf. You're selling wolf.
It's saying stuff, but
no, it says that it's all right. So this is what AI tells me. I don't know. It says the expression has roots in African American vernacular English and was first noted in writing in 1963 by sociologists who observed its use by gang members in Chicago. Some theories suggest the phrase evolved from to cry wolf. So you could be right, but a more plausible theory is the original term was woof, meaning to bark without biting. So that's how you get wolf tickets.
There it is.
I
love it. A new old man term to add to you.
I love being called an old man too. I'm okay. I'm embracing it. Alex, I got so many, I got so many things. Wrong as two left feet. I'm, like broke as a dollar bill. I got so many Southern sayings in me. It's all in here.
Barb's 10.
Broke as a $3 bill, actually. That's broke as a
Barb's 10. Barb's 10 threw us a $3 bill plus 7, $10 super chat. If you're that close, that's on the players too. Get off your ass and get in the game. That's a $2 million mistake, bro.
I read and I'm just kind of skimming this. He was splitting time. The guy who was splitting time with got hurt, so he became a full-time starter. He played every snap except 8 snaps in the second quarter of week 14. He left that game and then came back. So he left it for 8 snaps. So what's he supposed to do? I mean, I guess you could lobby for get me in on special teams or let me play a defensive snap. Or I don't know get me in on kickoff. I don't know what you do to hit that mark, but he missed it by 2 and they thought he had the $2 million escalator, but apparently not.
That is rough. That is rough. Barb's 10, thank you for jumping in. And Cody Carpentier, I see your super chat. We in fact we were gonna mention this guy anyway. Let me throw this up real quick, Jason, and you can help Cody and others out. Super chat $5 for Jason. What does Jackson
teams
pivoting to Miami for a reported $2 million mean to you? Nekos and Wilkfong are reporting. So Jason,
this is interesting because he's the number 1 player in the country. Jackson Cantwell, the offensive lineman. Everybody thought for a while it was trending Georgia, but then Miami's chatter started kind of flaring up last night. And I mean, listen, Miami's got deep NIL pockets, but I don't know the specifics. Cody, I'm curious if it's $2 million. Is that just surely that's not over the 3 or 4 years. Is that just for the 1 year if that's what he's getting? Because if that's spread out over 3 or 4 years, there are other offensive linemen having better NIL offers than that. So I'm assuming that's probably just a sign with them, and then he'll get more money once he gets to campus. What does it mean for me? What does it mean to me? It's the world it is in NIL, dude. I mean, things can turn at the very last minute, and if someone drops a bigger number than somebody else. It's weird to me. Let's say if Georgia, I don't know what Georgia was offering. If they're offering 1.5 and Miami says, we'll give you 2, well, then, hey, 2 is attractive. If it's 1.9 versus 2, I'm like, you know what, man? I'm probably going to try to find the situation that I'm most comfortable with. But Miami is no stranger to dropping, I want to say bags because they're not even bags anymore, but big numbers on NIL contracts. So if that's what I think he's announcing maybe an hour. I don't know if he's officially announced yet while we're live, but there was a lot of Miami buzz that started last night. So totally surprising. Oregon tried to make a late run. It's the usual players with NIL try to make a late run at Jackson Cantwell.
And so he's going to announce today as we're recording here on
it's
Tuesday,
1:15, 1:45. It's a weird time, but but I don't know exactly.
6'8", 320 offensive tackle, Jackson Cantwell. Yeah, that's interesting. And a very modern NIL comment from Jason. Well, if that's $2 million, that's got to be for 1 year. That couldn't be spread out. I mean, it's got to be a 1 year deal for $2 million.
I just know that normally I would say, okay, maybe that's a multi-year deal, but this year there's some crazy, because we're kind of getting close to this quote unquote salary cap. No, 245.
They're gonna have to get it while the getting's good, man. Like we're talking about this stuff, like
exactly, Alex. So like people this year are like, hey, some of these schools are like, let's just do it while we can and make these ridiculous offers before they start putting some sort of regulation on it. 245 Eastern. Well, I'm seeing 245 Eastern. I don't know, whatever.
Okay.
So later this afternoon, he should be announcing if that's accurate.
There you go. Our man Barb's 10 jumped back in with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Barb's 10. Nick Diaz from the UFC would always say Dana White is selling wolf tickets about his fighters and overselling cards or how good his guys were.
So, Alex, there you go, man.
There it is. The Diaz brothers from Sacramento, California, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that was something that they heard growing up in Sacramento.
Yeah, maybe just more of an urban saying more so than anything else. I never thought twice about it.
Selling wolf tickets. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Speaking of tickets, and we're talking kick times. Y'all good with the Texas A&M game being set on the Black Friday evening kick? We have also learned, guys, the NFL game that'll go ahead up with it is Eagles-Bears. So, Jason, I see you nodding. You good with the Black Friday night kick for that one?
Yeah. When I grew up, they would play that game on Thanksgiving Day, and I loved it, right? I'd get together and I wasn't really a fan of either team, to be honest. I grew up an Iowa Hawkeyes fan, but in the community when I moved to Bay City, Texas, I'd hang out with these families, Longhorn fans and Aggie fans, and we'd all get together and watch the game. And I just kind of sit there and watch as a neutral observer. Now, as I'm older and coworker or a worker, I like having my Thanksgiving days off, dude, because we don't get a lot of holidays. So I'm like, I like having my Thanksgiving. I can watch NFL. I can do prize picks, fantasy football, pig out, hang out with my kids, my parents. I like the Friday games now. And certainly more so. Last year was on Saturday, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
No Saturday, Friday, or I'd even take Thursday over Saturday. Now this game needs a special slot, so I like the Friday slot.
But Jason, you don't forget that for a few years though, Texas was trying to act like the A&M game doesn't matter, so we'll just still play games on Thanksgiving Day
or whatever. Yeah.
And you just had these random Thanksgiving Day games. You're just like, why are we doing this?
They would do those on Friday though, right? Those games were on Friday, right?
No, I feel like there was a couple that were actually on the day of.
You might be right. Hell, I can't remember last week, Omar. But I prefer the Friday kick, Chad. To be honest, I mean, if I had to rank it, I'd go Friday, then I'd prefer Thursday, then Saturday, because Saturday just feels like a regular game to me. I mean, it's A&M, of course, but a regular schedule to me. I like something that gives it a special feel, like a Friday or a Thursday.
Like Friday's a good spot because Thursday you can't compete against the NFL. Like that ship has sailed, right? And then Saturday. At that point, we're getting close to we're at NFL on Saturday at that point, right? We're still heading into the last week of November.
Not quite.
No, because they'll have the Thursday games and the Black Friday game, and the rest will be they'll have the Sunday and the Monday inventory. But I think that the Saturday games start.
They're not starting. It's December before you start that, right?
Yeah, week 16 or 17. Week 17 is Christmas, so I think it starts more like December 15th-ish, I think. I think it's like a week or two after that.
Yeah.
I think another advantage too is that as we start talking like CFP kind of things as well, at least with the game being played on Friday, you'll have a good idea where you won't have the rankings because they will not have come out, but you'd have an idea where Texas is and what the implications were, especially heading into then, championship week, the following week, SEC championship. So, I think knowing where they are rankings as well also helps out.
Yeah. Hey, Anwar, I'm looking after A&M the last 4 years. I've forgotten these games. Texas played, they were on Fridays, by the way. Texas Tech, They played Baylor on a Friday. They played K-State on a Friday. They played Iowa State on a Friday. So like, you're right. They would just kind of pick from this kind of mediocre Big 12 teams. And then it was Texas Tech again. So yeah, that's who they tried to fill in for that A&M void with teams like Baylor and Kansas State. So yeah,
it was bad. It was bad. Just cut it. Just cut it.
And Jason, on the other side, the Aggies actually tried a Thanksgiving game against LSU in College Station. And when they asked LSU to do the same thing, they refused. The LSU said, we don't do Thanksgiving in Baton Rouge. Sorry, it won't happen. And it just felt weird. Both those teams, it felt weird. The games you're saying for Texas, A&M was doing Missouri and LSU and trying to make everybody get fired up for those games the same way. Just wasn't quite.
Hey, by the way, Chris Bennett in the chat, he is correct. And Jason, this is what I'm remembering too. I had to look it up. They played Tech in 2015. And that was on a Thursday. And they lost 48-45 that year. So
Chris Bennett would know more than his memory's a lot sharper than ours for sure. Yeah,
he's good. No, he's a walking encyclopedia. But That's why I knew. I knew it. There was something that.
And they played TCU the year before that at home, so they did do some Thursday games. Correct. And then they transitioned to Friday. Yes.
Yeah. I remember because I remember one of my first questions like, why the hell are you guys playing on Thanksgiving Day? Why you guys could do this tradition? Like, I think I just got here and I'm covering these really shitty Charlie Strong teams. I'm like, why am I working on Thanksgiving Day? Especially after the loss against Tech. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Well, the other thing with me, Anwar, and this is, the Texas A&M stuff way back in the day when it was people getting nostalgic about Thanksgiving. Well, the NFL was different then. Once the NFL went night game on Thanksgiving, night game on Black Friday, that's where I would tell college football to get away from it. To me, you need to.
An NFL game on Friday. Well, I guess last year was the first.
Is the Black Friday game officially at night? I thought last year was at 3:30. Is it not?
It was Raiders Chiefs last year, and it is Eagles Bears this year, and I'm pretty sure it's an evening kick.
Okay.
Now I don't know if the kick time has been officially set on that game, but I would bet the NFL is not going to do a Black Friday game, and then they'll try to do, especially that time of year. You're going to get weather either way. You could get a kind of a cool weather game to watch, Eagles Bears, and show old shots of the Fog Bowl and all that kind of stuff.
It was at 3 p.m. Eastern in 2023. Let me just see.
Was it? Okay. Maybe they are. Maybe it is more afternoon.
Or it was.
I thought that was a night kick last year.
It could have been. I can't find the kick time for 2024. I'm sure somebody will find it.
Okay.
But it's in 2023. It looks like it was Dolphins, and that was at 3 p.m. I can't find it though. I can't find the.
Okay. So again, for those of you you're watching the show, as we're doing the show here on this Tuesday, we all understand this is more than likely an 11 a.m. kick. Maybe it's not official for Texas and Ohio State that it's 11 a.m. But as Anwar threw out earlier, and as we talked about, the only other possibility is a 2:30 kick, but that would be going head up with Bama and Florida State, and that wouldn't make a lot of sense. So yeah. Okay. So last year was 3 o'clock.
Yeah. It was 3 p.m. last year.
So that's okay. That's my mistake then, because for some reason I want to make that a night game. Maybe it does make sense then, because the game doesn't get really lost with that NFL game. That game would be done by the time Longhorns and Aggies are kicking at 6:30.
It'll be like right at if it's. I mean, it'll be just like right at the tail end.
Yeah, and obviously that's a game that I don't think that game's ever going to be kicked at 11, but we'll see. Obviously, it's been prime time these last 2 years with the return of the game.
But when they go into the SEC, though, just kind of before we wrap up, how many games do you think are going to end up being night games when they go into the ESPN or ABC kind of slot?
You're saying of the Texas schedule this year?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. How many games are going to be night games?
Well, the Florida one will be.
I was going to say,
that Oklahoma never, ever, ever will be.
The Swamp needs to be a night game. I think Oklahoma already been set as a 2:30. Oklahoma should be a 2:30 like forever.
More than likely.
I mean, it's always going to be 11 a.m. or 2:30.
They should lock that in at 2:30. They should never kick that game at 11 again. And
you're telling me. Remember,
and I get everybody scared of the night game there, but 2:30. They should lock that in.
Florida, Georgia, maybe Arkansas, and A&M.
Florida. Definitely Florida, definitely Georgia, and then and yes, Jason, I agree. Arkansas and A&M could both be night games.
And then I would generally say that if you just look at the schedule, I just Cody and I've talked about this before on our show, but you never know by the end of the season, but you get to the middle of the season or whatever, like maybe one of these teams is actually better than you would think that they would be. But as I look at it, I'm like, man, it's I really doubt like Kentucky or Mississippi State, or you know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the only reason I'd mention those, Alex. Remember, you've got those windows where it's like an SEC network game or that ESPN window that's like a 6 or 6:15. And sometimes that's about one of the teams, not both, about one. You'll see like a Bama Mississippi State game show up there, or it's like LSU against somebody that's not as good. So I could see Texas at Kentucky, maybe not Mississippi State. I could see Texas at Kentucky being like a, evening-ish kind of kick, like an SEC network kick, because it's Texas.
Yeah. I can see it. It feels like to me like those games are I don't know. It feels like to me that those have 2:30 written them all over.
And I do think, just for the sake of sticking it in Arkansas fans' faces, they should kick the Arkansas game in Austin this year at 6:30 or 7, considering that they made them go 11 a.m. in Fayetteville. That would be chef's kiss perfect for Arkansas fans if they did it. But because I just think those two games should be at night forever. Longhorns and Hogs, Longhorns and Aggies, don't be kicking that in the daytime. To play at night every time, wherever you go. That would be my thought. But again, it helps the visiting team when you kick it early, and obviously Texas has benefited from that. All right, before we wrap up here, let's thank one more of our good partners, and this one's extra good because it's just this beautiful picture. Look at the picture that Travis from Hayes City Store sent me. That's the blackened pork chop. We told you about all 3 pork chops: chicken fried, the grilled. This is the blackened, and green beans and onion rings. That's a good balanced meal for you there. Get a little onion rings, feel like you're being a little bad, and then be a little good with the green beans. That's how it works. They have all kinds of great sides. The pork chops are excellent. The pizza is unbelievable. Burgers, they've got all kinds of great stuff. Hayes City Store out there in beautiful Driftwood. Get on out there. Tell Travis and the crew you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live. You will not be disappointed. Make sure you're not in a hurry or anything, because it's out there in Driftwood, winding roads and all that stuff. Don't want to be in a hurry going out to Hayes City Store. All right. Also, let me give a shout out to some online poker with Hijack Poker. They sponsor House Divided here on Orange Bloods Live, Texas Card House, the 6 locations around the state. And if you're in Texas, you can play online poker at hijackpoker.com. Click that QR code and put the app on anything you want, any device, and get to playing. You might end up at a virtual table with Alex Dunlap. Be careful. He will take your money. Alex, you been at a hijack lately?
I got in one the other day. I'll play. If you get the app, it'll send you notifications when new games are starting. And so every now and then it's like some of these, I tell you guys in teams, man, it's like no one can get mad at me for doing it. I can almost say it's like part of my job. They're a sponsor, right?
That's it, right? I got to do it. Yeah, I got to do it. Yeah, every show I do with Jeff Ketchum starts with him reminding me what tournament's coming up with hijackpoker.com. All right, fellas, anything else we need to hit on the modcast this week? Everybody good? Everybody good? All right. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Texas and Ohio State, barring something weird, an 11 a.m. kick. When it's official, I guess Fox will let us know. Fox and Game Day will probably be there because you got to have Lee Corso do his final pick with Texas and Ohio State. I would assume he picks Brutus to ride off into the sunset with the picks and stuff.
That's his last game. That's his last game.
Yeah, it's got to be the last one, right? The first head he ever put on, I think, was Brutus. So you got to, end it that way. And although he has enjoyed making home fans mad lately, I've really enjoyed that about Lee. Lee likes going to the location the last 3 or 4 years and purposely picking against the home team. So maybe he does throw on the hook'em head just to give us a curveball at the end.
He's a little bit more lovable as an old contrarian than Kurt Bowles, apparently. So because everyone still loves Lee, they're like, oh, darn it. But Bowles, they're like, oh, I can't stand that guy. Why'd you write about NIL?
Kurt Bowles should have been putting big old heads on all these years. That's the problem. See, he just didn't get the right medium.
More like helmets that protect.
Thank you. Yeah, throw the helmets on. All right, y'all. Thank you for supporting us here at Orange Bloods Live. Like, subscribe, get your notifications. Thank y'all for getting us over 15 million views, and thank y'all for getting us over 25,000 subscribers. We are counting our way up to 8 million and more. So get on in there. Subscribe to the YouTube page. It doesn't cost you a thing. Check out all the great content. Football with Friends at 6 this evening with Alex and Cody. Anwar's got Old Fashioned for you at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and Jason and I have the recruiting hour for you tomorrow. It premieres at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. We got a lot going on, and we're glad that you are supporting us. Thank y'all. Take care. Stay cool in all this crazy hot May weather, and we'll talk to you soon. See you.